I've possibly got the best RAM in the whole world. I'm not even joking. I just want to say a huge thank you to ADATA for sponsoring this video and giving me not one, but 4 sticks of 8GB ADATA XPG Spectrix DDR4 D41 RAM. That's a total of 32 gigs if you can't add up. I'm very excited about what the streams are gonna look like. Holla out to ADATA. And if you guys aren't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really would mean a lot to me. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers before the end of the year. It's just gonna be a huge task. I don't know if it's even possible, but if you have friends, family, a goldfish, a dog, maybe not a goldfish, they can't subscribe to YouTube channels, that would really help me if you shared the video with them and got them to subscribe. And this isn't just the ordinary one, this is the titanium gray RGB stick that looks absolutely stunning in the machine. Obviously, you know I've got a lot of RGB down there, so it really makes it the whole package super complete, but it's not just any ordinary RAM. There's a couple of features with it. The sticks that they gave me are 3200 megahertz, which is relatively fast. I know a lot of people won't be purchasing anything that high, but you're gonna see why I'm pretty amped to get it. So why 3200 megahertz? Well, if your CPU supports faster RAM, you could reap the benefits of 3200 megahertz, which will help carry the CPU's load. But remember, make sure that you buy the correct RAM for your CPU. Not all CPUs are made equal. Yeah. In my case, the RAM that XPG sent me clocks higher than my CPU technically supports. I have a Ryzen 2700X, which only supports DDR4 2933 megahertz. According to some forums, it can be overclocked, but if you're looking to save some money, match the clock speed with your CPUs. It's a great website that can help you do that. I'll link it in the description below. Just type in what CPU you have and what your clock speed is. I'm planning on upgrading later on this year to a Threadripper machine. I'm not sure if that's gonna be my gaming machine or my streaming rig yet. I haven't quite decided. Having 3200 megahertz RAM is gonna be an absolute pleasure. So as a result, 3200 megahertz won't go to waste. I'm also just not quite the overclocking type yet. I can't really afford my machine to fry if it's my main streaming machine, and I stream pretty much daily. I gotta be careful. A lot of you guys might not know who XPG is and why you should be thinking about getting XPG RAM, so let me tell you. The XPG Spectrix range is a heck of a beautiful range of RAM. It looks like a knight's armor, especially in the one that I was given. It's the titanium gray. It also comes in a what they call a crimson red, which looks really cool, but you're gonna have to match it with your particular rig. It's compatible with both Intel and AMD rigs, and the speed ranges from 2666 megahertz through to an impressive 5000 megahertz. Most people won't need that kind of speed, but enthusiasts and overclockers will be well taken care of. And just a personal take, and I don't think a couple of people might disagree with me, but I like getting hardware, if I can afford it, that is overclockable. Not necessarily overclocking it, because maybe one day I might want to overclock it, but also it's used to taking a beating, and hardware can deteriorate over time. You want to make sure that you've got the best hardware for as long as you can. So if you don't overclock it, it's likely to last a very long time. If you're overclocking, you'll be happy to know that the chassis around the chip also acts as a heatsink, which is really cool. And this should help keep the chipset lasting longer through any kind of high performance, high powered use. Most visibly though, the Spectrix has a clean RGB bar on the top that's fully exposed. It's not dodgy. Get your mind out the gutter. It's compatible with a whole bunch of existing RGB software, so your rig is likely to support it. It's Gigabyte RGB Fusion ready and supports ASUS Aura Sync, MSI Mystic Light Sync, and ASRock RGB LED. A lot of you are probably picking up the XPG Spectrix DDR4 D41 RAM because you like the RGB, and you would not go wrong with this one. This is probably my favorite feature of the RAM, and it even comes with its own software. The XPG RAM software is strong and has a lot of exciting customization options that I got really pumped for. Make sure you download it. It's called the XPG RGB Sync app. I'm gonna include a link in the description to make it easier for you guys to find it. Of course, there's the usual pulsing, static, and waving RGB modes. It's all there. Everything that you expect is all there. But the ones that really blew me away were the ones that were more functional. My favorite one has got to be the smart mode that changes color based on your machine's CPU temperature, so that you can just glance at your machine and you can see the CPU temperature. Especially if you're overclocking, it just makes it a far more useful product than just being pretty. And when I was building my latest rig now, I had a huge problem with the water cooling. I needed to have a monitor with the temperature of my CPU going, and if I had the RAM being able to tell me what was happening with the CPU, that would be incredible. Another one of the settings is a music setting that reacts to the music in the machine. It kind of pulsates with the music. I know it's not necessarily like practical, but at least it's functional in a way that a lot of other RGB software isn't. So that summarizes the ADATA Spectrix DDR4 D41 RAM. It's amazing to have RAM that is RGB. I'm very grateful to have been given a set. I'm very excited to show you guys on stream some of the performance that high-powered RAM has. A lot of people overlook RAM. RAM is great because it's generally future-proof. We don't really jump generations too much. I'm not 100% sure when DDR5 is going to be released. I've heard it's going to take a very long time from now. Getting DDR4 RAM is a great investment because it can be carried over through to another rig, unlike some other components which really struggle if you need to replace your motherboard or something in the future changes. And why not get really good, robust, beautiful looking RAM? So I'm very grateful to them for it. I'm going to include a link in the description to pick up some RAM if you want, or if you want to learn more about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't yet, check us out on Twitch. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't as well. And I'll see you guys in another video. Cheers.